What's up, my dudes? Valk here, and today I'm going to be making another video on your boy Bennett. Why do I dislike Bennett? This is more going to be a chat than a video. It's going to be like one of my normal videos where, I'm just sitting here talking while playing the game, and we're going to discuss some things that I personally believe, and why I dislike certain things, why I like certain things, blah, 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 blah. Hey Valk, how do you feel about this? Well, these videos are exactly how you find out why, and everyone always asks me, why don't I use Bennett? Why don't I like Bennett? Blah, blah, blah. I made a video a long time ago explaining why I don't like Bennett. The fact that he shoved down my throat, but there's multiple reasons to it. One of the biggest reasons I used to dislike Bennett, it's kind of evolved from there, but one of the reasons I've really disliked Bennett ever since the beginning, well, not the beginning, at the beginning he was really slept on. Nobody really knew how good Bennett was. But one of the reasons is, as a content creator, everybody would ask me to build Bennett, build Bennett, build Bennett. Hey Val, what do you think about Bennett? And I never really, got to form my own opinion of him. It's just everyone saw him as a necessity. And as time has gone on, I've realized something that's actually extremely detrimental. That a lot of people actually build around the fact that Bennett's in their team, right? A lot of people build around the fact that Bennett is going to give them that much attack, which means they really restrict themselves in terms of team comp, and I don't really, I know it's a four-person game and you're going to be playing with a team, but if you make it to where you always have to have Bennett in your team's going to be restricted to having Bennett instead of having a fourth slot where you can have more flexibility. So as for me, I always make characters pretty self-sufficient, right? To where if they work in multiple teams, then by all means, that's cool. But for the most part, they kind of can function on their own. I can kind of slap any of these 4 units I have right now into other teams, and they'll still be doing their job just as well. Like, they're not reliant on other characters at all. Other characters just enhance them. For example, my 4-piece Millith official, she's going to go in any team and apply the Millith buff, which is really Pog. I took the elegy off her to get the elegy to Sar whenever she comes out, because I think Sar's going to be good with it. But we'll see, maybe not. Zhongli is Zhongli. I don't need to explain Zhongli. Kazuha is always buffing elements. Even Eula is a self-sufficient DPS to where she's 67.6, 155, and 2700 attack to where she doesn't need an attack buff. Xiao here, he could use an attack buff, especially with 230 crit damage. But he functions just fine on his own, etc., etc. Every unit I make is like that. I always make a unit to function well on their own without help, because I like to have flexible teams. You guys have probably seen my videos. I know this is the team I run the most because this team literally just one bangs everything. But I'll switch up the teams quite a bit. I'll throw in like low-level characters. That way they can just get carried by the off-field damage that I have through the supports being built up really strong. But I always have different builds going. And now back to circle back to Bennett, and why I think Bennett is an absolute menace is because there's so many people that I understand that free-to-play, it's hard to get your damage really high. I get it. It's hard to get like the insane damage numbers that you see whales do. But the thing is, with this game especially, maybe the new Abyss is there damage-wise, but I have never like felt the need to have that much damage. Like with C6 Eula, it's been a very eye-opening experience because she deals ridiculous amounts of damage. And nowhere in this game have I needed to deal the amount of damage that C6 Eula can do. Most stuff doesn't even survive the ult skill ults. Like, watch. Most stuff dies right here. I don't know if they will, because these guys are actually kind of tanky, but yeah, look, see? And then I auto a couple times and dead, and everything's dead before the ult even goes off. Most stuff dies just to that. In Abyss, like, the ult will go off and then one-shot the floor. You don't need that level of damage. You don't need to be clearing Abyss in 8 seconds, 9 seconds. You got an entire, what, like, minute? 90 seconds or something to clear Abyss. Like, you don't need the amount of damage that these characters can deal. So with Bennett just kind of makes people reliant on Bennett to a point where if they try to drop Bennett, their characters just flat out don't function and don't deal enough damage because they have like characters like 1500 damage, and it just literally doesn't function without Bennett in the team. And to me, that kind of restricted playstyle is something I never want. And I especially don't want to make builds that are reliant on characters like that. Now people will be like, but Valk, what about your crit damage or Sora? The thing is while 100 crit damage on my ball, which is where I'm planning to be around, 100 crit damage is not optimal. It's really not. But I can make do. I can make do with 100 crit damage, provided everything else is good. And if the attack stat is high enough, the crit damage won't matter that much, especially with the amount of damage bonus percent that ball gets. The crit damage won't matter that much where I could swap ball into other teams. It's just, I want to have that option to where if I want ball to deal big PP damage, the option is there. But if I want to throw ball in a different team, in a separate team, and have her perform as a sub DPS slash quick swap kind of unit, to where I can just swap through units and then go to ball, recharge everyone's ult, which is exactly what she's for, then that's kind of pog. Anyways, I know this video is very long-winded, but hopefully this gives you some insight as to why I don't like Bennett. Like I said, the number one reason is that I find him as a crutch. I find people rely on Bennett way too much and use him as an absolute crutch to the point where they're sacrificing their builds and their units to make Bennett fit into their team and make Bennett be the reason their unit deals big PP damage whenever you don't even need that level of damage to begin with, because you don't need to clear Abyss in absolute seconds. You can actually kind of take your time with it, and if you can't full clear Abyss, then you miss out on 50 primos, who cares? Yeah, that's basically my thoughts. Anyways, I know this video is very ranty, very rambly, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How do you guys feel about Bennett? I've always gotten split responses around this, how free-to-play need Bennett to deal damage and stuff like that, and I'm actually genuinely curious where you guys stand. Because as for me, like I said, I don't like having crutches. I like units being more universal, that I can constantly swap around teams to whatever I want, so I can try weird combinations, try a bunch of stuff, and constantly mix up the gameplay. Anyways, thank you all for watching as always. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.